the opportunity to operate in our jurisdiction, and we wouldn't have any ability to set any of the terms of how that is done. So I guess does that add some information for everybody, and hopefully that's helpful to just give you guys kind of a baseline level. And there's obviously there's a nice long bill you can read too. So, yep.
So
I understood the last part as being what the bill was about, but I like your in-depth explanation. That really helped me bring a little more clarity to it. But do you feel like if it doesn't pass now that it's going to be scrubbed and rewritten and resubmitted?
If it doesn't pass this year, if they're not able to get anything done this year, I think they will reintroduce it, but I don't think they'll have the steam to actually get anything across the finish line, just because they're playing on a lot of momentum that they have now that they probably would not be able to reconvene. The unions have come in really strong in favor of this. That's been a big part of what's helped them. The discussions that we've been having around road funding or something they've been leveraging to try and get some more assistance moving this bill through the process, because they're kind of saying that, hey, aggregate costs are too high, it's affecting our ability to build roads. This legislation would decrease the cost of construction. It would allow us to provide more aggregate in areas of the state that are, shy on resources, and it would eliminate a lot of the cost of transporting the materials, which I don't think is untrue, but I also don't think it's a full picture of what is going on in that part of the market. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces moving around here, but I think they've got as much momentum right now as they probably will ever be able to get in favor of getting something done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So takeaways right now, it's being discussed, but it's a long shot as it currently sits.
The problems that are in it right now, I would say, are a long shot. I think that I think MML will have better context in terms of what might make it through the House after it's passed the Senate. I think once conversations start in committee, and that could be a very short process, because I think what I have heard is that the plan is to have most of this discussion on the House floor. I think they want to bring it to that level so it can be a discussion amongst the entire membership of the House, and really give it the fair shot to get something done. That's, I think, what they're trying to do. That's their goal. So I guess at that point we will have a better idea. I think that all of us are probably in a position where we may want to have a conversation with our state representative, who will probably be the next person who has a good shot to weigh in on it, representing us, and that would be my advice. Also, I have been in his office and discussed this with him, so he is aware of the issue.
Well, fair enough. In MML, it obviously, from not just from the conference, but even the emails that, whether it's Chris, Jen, or otherwise, I mean, you can tell they're passionately advocating against this. This is like up at the top of the list right now of
I would go as far as to wager that this is the top of their list at this point. Yeah. And all of the stakeholder groups representing local municipalities are united in that position. The Township Association, MAC, stuff like that. Everyone's kind of coalesced around the understanding that, like, this can't happen as it stands the way it's structured right now.
Okay.
So,
fair enough. So maybe a suggestion is keep a close eye on it as we get into the next few weeks here, because things could move rather quickly.
Well, nothing will happen prior to the election.
Okay.
Nothing that changes the current landscape of it, I would say. I mean, I don't think they'll move it out of the Senate. If they did, it would be more of, again, a procedural movement. But I don't even think they'll do that. I think they're going to stay focused on right now just doing some of the repairing the patchwork of executive orders that got struck down by the Supreme Court. So I think this is an issue that'll fall into lame duck, and I think that once things are gearing up back into session after the election, that will be the time when it's important to kind of start to have those conversations, because that's when our legislators are going to be turning it back on and
you could see it shift from the Senate to the House at that point.
That's what
The likelihood. Okay.
I would expect probably the first week we're back that move will probably happen.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Anything else?
Yeah, just wanted to mention that I was at convention, at MML convention, and it was really good. I was a little, curious what it would be like to be on Zoom all day long, but the sessions I found them to be really informative. The speakers were fantastic. A lot of forward thinking around building communities, and they've been focusing on placemaking now, and now they're starting to focus more on like the people that the places, through all that positive placemaking, the people that are being drawn in, and how we can maybe leverage some grant monies and things like that to help build programming within our communities, things like that. So, and some forward thinking on the effects of climate change, not just in our region, particularly with water levels, but then also as it affects the coastal areas more and those people start to migrate inward. What does that mean for cities? I mean, and this is, 20 years probably down the road, but just keeping in mind like that we're planning ahead for that kind of thing. And it was just really interesting, some of the perspectives that they brought on those ideas. So it was quite interesting. Like I said, it's much better than I thought it might be, considering it wasn't, live. All right, that's all I got.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just a couple things. The legislature has a spot where you can sign up online and choose the bills that you want to follow, and this would probably be one that you'd want to sign up and have, so Okay, yeah, that way we would know what's happening, when it's happening, or whatever. That would be helpful. My other question is to you regarding the food vendors.
Yes.
Status, or what?
So
what happened?
we did discuss it at the Planning Commission level. I think we're going to be having another discussion about it. We had our public hearing, so that gives us some ability to move it once we finalize whatever the language needs to be for the public hearing here. But we feel pretty much like we're still working through it. We had the discussion about whether or not it needed to be a business license. We had the discussion about whether we felt like I think the main consensus was that the solicitor's license was not appropriate for the mobile food vendors. I think that was the bottom line of the discussion. The rest of it felt a little bit more up in the air, whether it was going to be a specific mobile food vendor license, which I think is probably the appropriate way to go, or whether we should fold it into existing licensing, or whether there needs to be any at all. But I guess the best description I can give you is that the discussion is ongoing, and there's some ambiguity amongst the Planning Commission about where that'll land. So.
I was just kind of bummed. That means that nothing's been simplified at this point then for...
That's how I felt too.
Yeah.
I really...
That's disappointing.
Getting it out of the solicitor license is something that I would like to see happen quickly. But I think we'll have another discussion about it, and I think we'll be able to get moving, get some momentum forward.
Of course, then it's going to be winter by that time.
Naturally.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
okay,
and unfortunately, it's in the ordinance, so it's embedded. So until you can't just like take out 3 sentences and and make it happen. We have to rewrite the ordinance.
Yep.
So it's all going to be a process.
To it.
Yep.
Cool.
I don't have
Bush? Okay. Bush?
I'm good, but thanks for the update, guys. It was very good.
Yes, thanks for the update. And the food trucks, I think we got to keep moving forward and keep trying. And so maybe you can get a food truck here for your planning commission meeting.
Good idea.
Yeah, there you go.
I got one.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm good.
Awesome. I think the only other 2 items I had, one was the MML, to Commissioner Glanville's point. It was the Zoom meetings on top of business Zoom meetings tend to get a little tiring when you're on those all day long, but we got through it. And then what was rather unique was the voting that took place for the Board of Trustees and so forth for MML. That was, I probably could have got it done in about 3 to 5 minutes, and it took over an hour. So on the first go around, but got through it. So definitely learning experience, and MML did a very good job under the circumstances of it, getting us through and providing some quality material. Second last weekend we had, or 2 weekends ago, the tree planting we had. I think was it 2 weekends ago, Daryl? DTE had donated 15 trees and needed to be planted quickly, and we had about a month's notice roughly on it. We extended the notice out to the Standale business owners in an attempt to get them to adopt a tree to help plant that. We had one response from Independent Bank, and we had from that at the last minute engaged the fire department had already offered to help. And we grabbed some football players to help out with that and got some quick work done and got 15 trees planted. Looking forward to that because they're planted in a very nice line around the park, and good quality trees as well. So looking forward to see what those look like in the coming years. And I'm missing something on Standale, the scarecrows. I think right now there will be a contest. Anything you want to share on that one?
We haven't quite decided how we're doing the contest yet. It might be just something super individualized to the committee for voting on wise, but those should go up Thursday, I believe, the 15th this week.
And basically, it's a scarecrow contest throughout Standale for the businesses.
Yeah, so we have about a dozen businesses right now signed up to do scarecrows along there. So.
And our fire department's doing one out in front of the fire station even. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so cool stuff there. So, good. All right, anything else for the good? Yes, you have 4.5 minutes, so take your time.
Okay. Scott and I will be meeting this week with Nicole. We're looking at potentially doing a couple of ribbon cuttings for our road projects that we completed, one being Walker Avenue, it's done, but still trying to recognize the contractors and Thistle for their partnership on that project. So look at something really low key there, and then potentially North Ridge Drive connection. This year is completed with their portion of the project, so probably in about 2 weeks, something up there. So keep your eyes peeled on that. So probably something very similar, but I think that both of them deserve recognition. We got state money for both of those projects, and they really came together pretty well throughout the summer. So keep you all informed on when we plan on doing those.
Awesome. Oh, go ahead.
I saw something about a pickleball net went up.
Pickleball net is up in Community Park now. I don't know if there was a post that she put out on it. It just got done. Okay, so yeah, so there is one in Community Park right now where it was 2 years ago, and was up there for a couple of years. So that's back up right now. That group continues to evaluate. Do we look at south into City Central here? I think that's going to be prohibitive because the school's using that, as my understanding, Daryl, still for their piece. So now do we look at other potential venues maybe in that Standale area to help out? So definitely trying to find more, but there is one up. It's striped. The day we planted the trees, Tom Klein was very proud and showing off. Great job that he actually had the posts cemented in, and they're back to where they were. Actually, it's permanent in there now. He had it temporary back a couple of years ago, so they're up and going and being utilized. So.
Pretty confident at some point we'll be able to use the old tennis courts in Callaway here, but right now the school is using them for gym classes or they're using that space now. It's technically their property, but I think we'll be able to work something out come spring and summertime that we can get a couple courts on there, whether they become temporary or a permanent home for some future courts out there. We'll see. Continue to work on it.
Can I follow up on that? Mm-hmm. I'm wondering what role our Parks and Rec committee is playing in helping move that along.
The committee itself, nothing yet. Fair question. I guess it'll be a Sharon question to see, find out. I mean, she's involved right now with the piece. The community park was a quick, because we made a commitment to the group that was here that night about getting a quick turnaround. We said we will get something up, but long term, I want to say there's 3-4 good ideas I think that have potential. Probably going to require some investment from us at some point, but we're either going to spend it in healthcare in our community and the cost, or we're going to spend it, on the courts where they're getting out and getting exercise. So I think that's the wiser of the two investments.
So Sharon would be the one to touch base with on.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
Mayor, question on that. Pickleball, is there a date, like it's up until, because it's nets and winter coming?
That's a good question. Until snow's standing, yes.
Okay.
And even if it's flying, they can still play, right?
Might be slippery.
So spoken from a football coach, so.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Daryl, I read the reply from Dan and tell him thank you.
Yeah, sorry you weren't copied on that email.
It's good to have him finally off for a weekend vacation, right?
There you go.
So.
Thought it the next morning, I thought he would be doing this.
No, that's fine. I read it and I said, that's got to be an oversight, but he'll catch it. But
We are at 6:59, and I saw that flip about 30 seconds ago, so I don't think we have any challenge of starting this 30 seconds early, probably 20 seconds now, because I'm still talking. So we'll go ahead and call our 7 o'clock regular City Commission meeting to order, and would like to ask Commissioner Glanville to deliver the invocation and lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Yep, I'm going to tuck a little history lesson into our invocation today. As you're probably aware, it is Indigenous Peoples Day here in the state of Michigan, which was recently renamed last year, I believe. And I don't know, you're probably aware, but maybe not consciously, I've been a student of Spanish history, culture, and language for years, and also a teacher, and so I'm very familiar with the complicated history of today and how we talk about that and things like that. So I just thought it would be interesting to note, in case you were unaware, as I was until recently, Michigan is home to 12 federally recognized tribes and 4 state recognized tribes. And we're one of the top 10 states with the highest indigenous peoples population in the nation. And the Walker history, if you go back, it's kind of interesting to note that what we consider one of our main thoroughfares today, M45, was also one of the main indigenous trails for trade within the area. So it's always been a spot of commerce and community travel and people meeting. So I just thought that was kind of interesting to note. And with that, if we can take a moment, and I have tonight a prayer that was written specifically for Indigenous Peoples Day. Creator God, we look at your world and praise you for the diversity all around us. Thank you for the gift of relationships, our connection with people, animals, and the land. Help us to see differences and diversity as strengths. Help us to listen and understand, to meet one another with wonder and anticipation. Help us to love as you love, without expectation. Reveal to us your way of reconciliation and guide us into right relationships with all living things. Lead us to understand how Indigenous peoples have been and continue to be profoundly harmed by settler people and institutions. Lead us to repent when we as settlers deny Indigenous peoples respect, dignity, and fullness of life. Help us to listen compassionately, to speak humbly, and to act justly. Help us to seek the peace, justice, and reconciliation you desire among all your children. Thank you for your mercy and grace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If I could please ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Curie,
Present.
Commissioner Kent,
President,
Commissioner Gilbert, Commissioner DeShane,
Present.
Commissioner Glanville,
Present.
Commissioner Groders,
Present?
and Commissioner Heisinger. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is approval of the September 28, 2020 Commission meeting minutes. I'll look for, if there's no discussion, I'll look for approval of those.
Make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion from Commissioner DeShane, second from Heisinger. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes are passed. Next on the list is the consent agenda. And as Daryl had shared, the large expenditure in the amount of $21,611,509.19. A little over 18 million of that is for our annual property tax or semi-annual property tax pull there. Any other questions on the expenditures? We're all good?
I make a
Commissioner
motion, we
Kent?
pay the bills.
All right, thank you. Do we have
Support.
support, Commissioner Gilbert. Any other discussion on those? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We can pay the bills. We're good. Next on the list is our October 26, 2020 commission meeting at 6:30. That'll be committee of the whole. We will not have a commission meeting next Monday, so we'll adjourn or meet again here on the 26th. Seeing no one in the public, we can open up for there's no public comment. We've covered our commission city manager comments, and I'll just open it back up. Any other questions, comments? Anybody? All right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Commissioner Groders?
Second.
Supports, Commissioner Glanville. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you.